Have you ever driven over a highway bridge and couldn't help but look below? Or stood on a shoreline's rocky ridge just to watch the water flow? And count yourself as one of the few with a different set of dreams, the kind that keeps you up at night, 'cause you can't wait to get to that stream. It's more than a river. It's more than the water flowing or where it's going. It's the grip on the paddle and the shit in the saddle, the V in the boulders and the lean in the shoulders. When you reach for the eddy, it doesn't get better than this. Yes, it's more, so much more than a river.
Hey everybody, welcome. Here we are live with Cross Currents Leadership. We are live on Facebook, Substack, and YouTube for just 15 minutes as we talk to leaders from across paddle sports and outdoor recreation. As you know, we've been getting the golden nuggets that are going to help you level up your leadership for 2026. And tonight is a super special episode. We have got my friend Jim Coffey here with me. And Jim, thank you so much for making time for us. This is going to be such a fun conversation. I can't wait.
No, my pleasure, Andrea. Thanks for inviting me.
So, guys, Jim is, in case you're not in the know, and that's fine because we have lots of niches in our community, Jim is an internationally renowned swiftwater and whitewater kayaking expert and has spent his whole career doing this and just leading the charge. He is a past recipient of the Higgins and Langley Award, the most esteemed award in swiftwater, and the current incoming chair for the ACA Safety and Rescue Committee. Jim, it has been so much fun to see how you have just injected so much energy and revitalization into that community and for the whole instructor community, because you've been really made what's happening in Swiftwater accessible for all of the instructors.
Oh, super. Thanks for that.
Yeah, it's just been so much fun to watch. So guys, there's some really fun stuff coming up this year, and Jim has some good, it all comes from a really great story he's got to tell us. You taught a super special class in Mexico in December. Can you tell the gang about it?
Sure, Andrea, I'd love to. So to frame this a little bit is that I'm from Canada and I live in Eastern Canada on the Ottawa River in the summers. And I live in a small village in the mountains of a state called Veracruz in Eastern Mexico, not far from the Gulf of Mexico. And my little village called Jalcomulco has 100 kilometers of continuous class 2, 3, and 4 whitewater passing right through our town. And we're at we'd call the 70 kilometer mark. So there's a place where we can put in 20 kilometers upstream and a place we can take out 30 kilometers downstream and another place, another 50 kilometers further up. And so the town has become the little sort of sports mecca or adventure sports mecca for Mexico, and people who want to go whitewater rafting or ziplining or any of those different things can come and do that right in our community. One of the downsides of that is that over the years that I've been here, I've been involved probably in 5 different drowning situations. So our little town has a bridge, a couple of restaurants, a little beach area. People from the community are really good at swimming around in the river and things, but people from outside the community often come here and they often have a few drinks and they're trying to play around in the water. And they may get swept away by the current, or they jump off the bridge and they don't surface. And so these drownings are not something that happen often enough that they have sort of lifeguards in place, but they do happen often enough that everyone in the community ends up being touched by those things. So each year I run what's called an instructor rendezvous, where swiftwater instructors can come to Mexico and get some updating or upgrading in their training. And we were fortunate enough this year with our group to have Dr. Chris Davis, who's an ACA instructor and a world-leading expert on drowning, being a participant in one of our rendezvous. And so taking advantage of that, in conjunction with a friend of mine named Libu Vasquez, who runs a paddling shop here called Mayday, we decided that we should look at trying to provide drowning prevention instruction in our community. We didn't really know what that mean or how it would go and whether it was going to be just for guides or kayakers, but we started doing some publicity, and we got 150 people who wanted this type of training. And with that, they came from all walks of life. So some were guides, some were kayakers, some were what they call protection civil or working for the Red Cross, firefighters from, let's say, within 100 kilometers of here, guides who traveled up to 5 hours for a free clinic that we did Riverside. And what was also amazing is that we had local people from the community, including moms and dads, who just wanted to know what to do in case their kids had some problem in the river.
Because this is just all so relatable. Sure. This is all so relatable because for all of us who are river people, we know a story that sounds just like this, right?
Sure.
Because I know in Appalachia, there's a class 4 Whitewater River, that's outside of Chattanooga, where the locals like to come down to the Blue Hole, and they've got kids drowning there. And I know in Atlanta, we've got the Chattahoochee River in the national park coming right through Atlanta, and here it's the young African American men that are coming to jump rock and
sure.
caught up in the current. And it's such a relatable story. And for us as water safety advocates and ambassadors to be able to do something to bring, our training to the local community, what an amazing thing. That's just so incredible.
Well, combined with Chris's leadership and my way of communicating these different things, and the instructors that were here on my course, we also have a bunch of ACA instructors from the local community, both swiftwater rescue and kayak instructors. And so we banded together a group of 17 of us to divide this 150 people into smaller groups to do this drowning prevention clinic. And that includes getting people out of the water, getting them to a high and dry location, giving them 5 breaths as opposed to the standard of starting with compressions, showing them how to disrobe them if they're wearing helmets and life jackets so that they can do proper CPR up to defibrillation, and then what to do afterwards. And this 2-hour clinic, the only concern that we had from any of the participants was that they just wish it was longer, and they were just going until the very end. And what was wonderful is that we divided the groups up, that we did have guides and professional rescuers and moms and dads all in their groups together. So they were all helping each other. And it was amazing, the synergy from instructors, including some world-renowned experts, to local instructors, then down to each of those other levels. And everyone came out all the better for it. And so so much so that we were honored, the 17 of us, as being the ACA Instructors of the Month for the month of January, which was really quite a big thing because it's one of the first times that they've had Instructors of the Month who are from other countries outside of the United States. So a combination of Mexico and Canada as well.
I mean, it's just, like I said, inspiring is the word that keeps coming to mind. Being able to do a lesson like that, to pack so much content, so much value and meaning into a 2-hour curriculum, bring all those, hands to bear with their expertise and teaching skills for 150 locals and folks from not necessarily local.
Sure.
And it's just a phenomenon. I really, it sounds like it was so much fun and like everybody just left jazzed.
Yeah, it was super fun. It was also amazingly very rewarding. And so often we think that the people who are going to gain the most are the people who know the least, right? And so that they're able to move their way up along along that spectrum. But one of the most touching things that happened was that we had a dinner for all of the instructors afterwards at a local restaurant here. And one of the guides, who I've known since he was a young kid in town, who's a new ACA instructor, Spanish speaker, we had some translation things that were happening. He was working with an international instructor, came to me and said that of all the things that he's done, and he's quite an accomplished young man, said that this was one of the things that he found most rewarding, to be able to give that gift of knowledge to people from his local community where he's grown up watching these issues and stuff happen over the years.
Yeah, no, that's the kind of thing that That's the kind of thing that leaves your town, the place you live, better than you found it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're actually paying it forward in a way that could save somebody's life that you know.
And with that, you know, with this being sort of the model or the nucleus, one of the things that we always talk about here in Mexico is, you know, we live in an agricultural community as well. So it's about sembrando, you know, planting a seed. And so with that, we believe with the success that we've just had is that we would like to try to spread this and provide all the knowledge, all the steps, all the marketing, et cetera, to be able to make this a worldwide movement. And so that's what we have planned coming up for this summer from across the planet.
So let's dissect that, because I'm all in. I think it sounds phenomenal. So World Drowning Prevention Day is July 25th.
Correct.
And if my little birdie from Facebook told me right, that's even your birthday.
Well, it does happen to be my birthday, but we're going to look at it as Drowning Prevention Day. And what we're hoping to do is inspire up to 100 instructors, potentially from up to 10 different countries, to try to teach a minimum of 10 people in these drowning prevention protocols. And that would give us 1,000 people across the world who have that you know, better knowledge to possibly save people's lives on the river's edge. And if we were to do that every year over 10 years, now we're talking 10,000 people. And where these numbers become so important is that right now, and depending on the statistic that you're looking at, and this is not including natural disasters like floods or hurricanes or typhoons, there's between you know, like one person every minute or one person every 2 minutes around the world that are drowning. And here in Mexico, it's 5 people per day. And if we can do anything to reduce those numbers, whether it's recreational, you know, with helmets and life jackets on, or recreational with cut-off jean shorts, you know, and no shoes, or especially where I am in Canada, we have a lot of new Canadians who didn't grow up with the privilege of learning how to swim in a controlled environment like a pool, but they want to get out and enjoy, you know, the Canadiana. And so we often end up having some of our, you know, our new Canadian population. This is a group which is really susceptible to drowning. Yeah.
Well, guys, I know that there are people watching us tonight that are going to want to help you with this mission, Jim. I'm confident that we're going to start getting your volunteer list ready to go. So guys, I want you to look in the show notes, because in the show notes, I have got several things linked for you. Okay. There is a video that's a recap of this incredible class that Jim just did in December, so you can watch the video. There's an article about that class and about how they were all named Instructors of the Month. And there's a link to sign up. There's a Google form link so you can sign up as a volunteer to help with this class on July 25th. So don't let this pass you by. This is your chance to have a bite-sized level of effort and a huge impact on the world.
Well, thanks so much for that, Andrea. That's a very concise way of how people can help. Obviously, in different places, in different jurisdictions, there's different rules on what can be taught and by whom. And so we have part of our committee where we also have another Dr. Steph LaRue and Robin Pope, who's very active in this type of community, that are looking at how to make sure that we can tick all the boxes to make this a really viable event in the United States, in Canada, and all across the world.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna give a couple more announcements, Jim, real quick before we wrap up. But thank you so much for bringing this to us. I can't wait to see how many people sign up. I know it's going to be phenomenal.
My pleasure, and thanks for helping us get this promoted.
Absolutely. So, guys, now I want to give you a heads up. The conversation we're going to have live on Wednesday night is going to be just as powerful as what we just did with Jim. We're going to have Kelly Davis from the Outdoor Foundation. She's their data research guru, and she just did data on how the customer base in our outdoor recreation market is changing, how they're making decisions, how their segmentation is changing. And we've got it in a 15-minute nugget for you. You don't have to listen to an hour-long webinar. You can come to just 15 minutes live and get the juicy parts. So Wednesday night's going to be a phenomenal conversation as well. I also want to give you a reminder from when Jeff Atkins was on here about a week or so ago, and we were talking about the Smart Start curriculum. If you are already certified as an ACA level 1 or level 2 canoe, kayak, or SUP instructor, and you would like to earn the Smart Start instructor endorsement, time is running out to sign up for that Zoom class with Jeff Atkins. It's going to be on February 19th. So that link is also in the show notes. Sign up for that. It's an easy add to your credentials, and you can practically double what you can teach out in the world, the way you can help people. I also want to throw out my heartfelt gratitude to everybody who signed up to follow Cross Currents Leadership on any channel. In particular, those of you who found the secret sauce, you signed up for Substack to get the email updates, and a few of you have upgraded from the free subscription to throw a little extra caffeine my way and support the work I'm doing in the community. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much for what you're doing. That vote of confidence means the world to me. And thanks as always to Jerry Vanderberg for allowing us to use his paddle socks in the countdown video. Thank you, Jim. I can't believe I got you on Super Bowl Sunday. You're the best, and I can't wait to see what we're able to do collectively as a community in July.
Well, Super Bowl Sunday going up against a combination of the Super Bowl and Bad Bunny, that's a pretty big ask, but we appreciate everyone who took time to tune in tonight.
Absolutely. See everybody on Wednesday. Bye.
Take care. Bye.